Hey everybody, Michael Snyder here, California Weather Watch. Today is August 17th, and right now we are looking at the mid-level water vapor loop. You can see California is here. There's our upper level low that will continue to spawn some thunderstorms over the next few days in the meantime. But what everybody wants to know about here is the tropical storm Hilary is now upgraded to a hurricane here, and this should go through some rapid intensification here over the next 24 to 48 hours as it tracks up the coast of Baja. It could be making landfall on northern Baja Peninsula as a hurricane. Will likely be a tropical storm as it moves across some of California here as well. We'll take a look at these details here more in a moment, but it's already having some features of the I formation as we speak right now, and it's over an area of very warm water, low wind shear. It's just going to rapidly develop here as we go over the next day or two. It's going to be interesting to watch this on the satellite imagery, and if you want a nice portable home weather station to record all this weather information happening across California, Nevada, Arizona, all across the desert southwest there, go ahead and click on the link down below to save 10% off here. It's all solar powered wireless, stores all the data for you in the cloud as well. And you can see these stations down across Baja. There's even one there in Mazatlan as well. So yeah, highly recommend that weather station. On this date in Southern Cal weather history, August 17th, 1977, we had Hurricane Doreen swept north along the Baja coast, impacting Southern California over a 3-day period here. And this is kind of small potatoes here to what's coming here with Hilary up the coast. Hilary is stronger, it's bigger, and it's going to have more moisture with it. And you can see that numerous highways were submerged even with this storm here. Portions of Interstate 8 and 15 were washed out. Big damages out there as well. So kind of a precursor of what's to come. And again, this is the impacts are going to be much greater, most likely here across much of the area. Now looking at up towards 500 millibars, 18,000 feet. This is in the meantime, we've got these thunderstorms forming with this upper level low across the area. And you could get some locally heavy rainfall with that. But again, the big weather story starts to emerge here at the end of last night's European run, about 90 hours out. You can clearly see Hilary start to move up the coastline there and be introduced into the area. We're going to go over that in a lot more detail here in a moment. And this is the next few days, a thunderstorm threat across some Oregon all the way down through California here. It does include Sacramento and Redding today, some of the coastal areas, Las Vegas down there, and of course Arizona and Utah. This is Phoenix, Arizona. There's going to be a sharp cutoff here on the eastern portion of this storm here as this moisture moves up here. And so small changes in the track here could introduce some areas further east in some very heavy precipitation here. And of course, if it trends west a little bit here, then that precipitation is going to be brought with it. But somebody's going to get hit here from California through Nevada into Arizona, and we'll be looking at those details in a moment. But look at the National Weather Service San Diego's official forecast. Check it out. Palm Springs, which gets around 4.5 inches of rain in a year, and they're talking about 5 to 7. That could potentially be catastrophic, just being honest here. These are huge amounts of precipitation. There would be devastating impacts from this if this occurs. And right now, the confidence is increasing in the forecast. This is looking at the European total precipitation in inches. And look at some of these amounts. You're talking about up over 8 inches for some areas here. And you can see some of these sharp cutoffs here, though, as you go out of the Los Angeles metro here along the coastline over the next few days. So you're going to have a sharp precipitation gradient here as the storm system comes across the region. But some of these precipitation amounts across Nevada and the desert areas could be catastrophic flooding here, folks. You got to be prepared for this stuff. And the higher terrain is going to be especially bullseye here as well. Now, this is day one excessive rainfall outlook, just that upper level low spawning some thunderstorm activity, some monsoon moisture. Then we start to get the surge early Saturday morning here across a lot of the southwest. And we go into Saturday morning into Sunday morning here. And you can see slight has been introduced all the way into Nevada, across a lot of portions of Southern California here as well, the desert areas and some of western Arizona. Day 4, look at this moderate introduced here across some of the deserts here. It does include the Los Angeles metro and the slight as well. And day 5 continues on here with the slight risk of flash flooding. And this probably is going to get upgraded for some areas as we go in the next day or two. This is looking at precipitable water. Check this out for San Diego International Airport. These are near all-time record values here, and we might break it here. It's going to be close. And the control run says that we will, up over 3 inches of precipitable water. Never been above about 2.7 for San Diego here. Very impressive stuff here, and you can clearly see the bullseye here and the bulge in the mean as we get towards hurricane or tropical storm Hilary moving up over the area. And this is looking at the soundings there. I believe that record high was 2.69, yes, back in 1988. And we could break that here, and we're probably going to be at least second place here on the all-time precipitable water. Just a huge slug of moisture is going to be moving up over the southwest USA. This is looking at how much the temperatures are going to be suppressed. Look at some of the desert areas, Blythe out there. Look at some of these highs might not make it out of the 80s here on Sunday or Monday. Burbank, something similar there with the cloud cover. Look at Las Vegas, might not get out of the 70s here on Sunday. They could set their all-time low high temperature here with something down around 74, 75 degrees. Now looking at Hilary on the European, you can see the track. Pretty good ensemble agreement as well. All 50 ensembles are included here. The black is the ensemble mean, the blue is the control. So yeah, we are definitely gaining confidence in this occurring here for California, Baja Peninsula, up into Nevada and Arizona as well. This is the GFS. I don't know what the control's smoking here. This is just kind of out to lunch. I don't think there's going to be a tropical system going all the way up through Canada, but you can see the ensemble agreement here on this thing tracking right into Southern California here. We're going to be fine-tuning these details here, so it's going to make a big difference if this thing tracks a little bit west or a little bit east here on who gets hit with how much precipitation, and that is going to be the biggest threat with this storm. There's going to be some big winds. The higher terrain is going to get hit with some big gusts as well, but the biggest impact are definitely going to be the flooding. Catastrophic flooding is possible. Be prepared. This is looking at the most updated map here. You can see it could be a hurricane as it starts to move up the northern portions of the Baja Peninsula there, and it shows a tropical storm right smack dab near the Los Angeles metro here by 6 a.m. Monday, and tropical depression as this thing weakens as it's moving over land and colder water here over the ocean areas, which we'll go over those details here in a moment. This is looking at the hurricane weather research forecast. This is Hilary. And I mean, you don't have to go to the tropics to get tropical moisture because this thing is coming to you, California and portions of Arizona and Nevada. I mean, look at that thing just tracking up. Just an impressive, amazing surge of moisture moving up with this system. This is looking at the European. Now, this is where things really get crazy here because you can see Hilary moving up the coastline here. And look at some of these values. This is 6-hour precipitation values, 3.8 inches in 6 hours. Whoever gets underneath that, this could be some devastating flooding. You're talking about major highways being washed out, communities being cut off. You know, there could be loss of life, all kinds of nasty stuff unfolding here with this tropical storm moving in. I'm just trying to have everybody prepared. Not everybody's going to get this, but whoever gets underneath some of this intense rainfall is really going to suffer. Now, this is looking at the GFS. Same thing here, 6-hour precip. And you can see as we go through Saturday morning, this moisture starting to make its way up into some of the desert areas already. And then the cyclone itself is on its way up. And look at some of these values. They're over 3 inches in a 6-hour period. Just intense amounts of rainfall. That's out there where Palm Springs is too as well. As you can see, the system move up and over the area. Some of the southern Sierra Nevada going to be under the gun here as well. That system finally moves off to the north here. This would be very early Tuesday morning. Now, this is looking at the GFS, simulated infrared satellite imagery here. Check this out. Look at the eye that this thing develops here as it's moving off the coast of Baja. A major hurricane is likely. Category 3 or 4 is possible with this system here. Now, once it starts getting over the cooler water, it's going to start to deteriorate, but it's not a lot of time to deteriorate. It still could be a hurricane as it makes landfall here around the north portion of the Baja Peninsula there. So very interesting times here, folks. Likely a tropical storm as it moves over Southern California. And again, here's Tuesday morning as the system is moving now up across the Intermountain West towards Canada. This is looking at a combination of a lot of models here, and some of the ship's models have this as a category 2 hurricane as it's making landfall in the northern Baja Peninsula there. So yeah, interesting stuff here, but you can see the rapid weakening as it starts to move over the cooler water and the land here. But again, the wind speed is probably not going to be the biggest risk. It's going to be the devastating flooding that this brings. Now, this is looking at sea surface temperature. You can see as Hilary is here, just prime conditions for rapid development here, similar to a dust devil over a very hot, dusty field here, and then it moves over grass, and it's going to start to die pretty quickly here, but it's going to be pretty close, and with enough forward speed, it's going to bring big impacts here across Southern California. This is looking at temperature anomaly here, and this goes for, it is above average here, but again, there's a pretty sharp cutoff here between the much warmer ocean to the south and then the cooler current that moves down the coast of North America here. Now, this is kind of playing this here. You can imagine this is going to be Hurricane Hilary. Obviously, it's going to be spinning the other way. This one was anticyclonic, but this is over the very warm water here in California. You can imagine somewhere here in the grass, this thing rolls off onto the land or into the colder water here. But you can see the circulation is going to persist for a while, and the dust would be the moisture. Huge amounts of moisture coming with this. It's not going anywhere too fast. So yeah, very close comparison here. Dust devil is just a heat transfer process as well, very similar to a hurricane on a small scale. Now looking at the GFS here, and I'll show you what I mean. You can see this is about 925 millibars, 2,500 feet, as this system moves up a major hurricane there. And now it's going to start its weakening process over cooler water. And this is kind of a worst case scenario. And this is the 12Z GFS run, so this is hot off the presses. If this thing stays right here, this could really get Southern California with some interesting winds, especially the higher terrain as well. And you're kind of focusing some of that precipitation on the higher terrain and near the Los Angeles and San Diego metro here as you go through Sunday, and late Saturday night, Sunday on in through Monday here as the system starts to move northward. After that, here's Big Bear. You can see even some big wind gusts showing up in some of the higher terrain. Some of these are up towards 70 miles per hour. It's just kind of sprinkled in here in some of the ensemble members there, but the risk is there for some big winds across some of the higher terrain for sure. And this is Campo near the Mexico-California border. Look at some of these wind gusts. The ensemble mean is up towards 50 miles per hour on the European here. The control came in at 55, and some of these gusts are towards 70 miles per hour, and a lot of them in the 60s as well. So there definitely could be some wind impacts with this system. And here's where Campo, California is there, right on the border here. There's Tijuana, San Diego, and the Los Angeles metro here. There's Joshua Tree out there, and there's Needles, Bullhead City over there in Nevada up to the upper right of this screen. This is Los Angeles, and you can see the big variability in some of the ensemble runs here with how much precipitation is coming. Right now, the control run as of last night showed about 0.8 of an inch here for Los Angeles. The mean is around an inch in a 24-hour period. Check out San Diego. Again, the probability or possibility for some big precipitation does exist. Look at the control dropping 2.7 inches in a 24-hour period for San Diego. This is Calexico down there towards the Mexico-California border as well. Look at some of these values. The control run over 5 inches in a 24-hour period. I think that's more than that area gets in an entire year. And a lot of this is going to fall rapidly during a short amount of time, a 6-hour period. And this is looking at Mammoth all the way up towards some of the Sierra Nevada here. Big rainfall possibilities all the way up there as well. We'll need to refine this as we go through tomorrow also. Palm Springs, really under the gun here. The control run been showing huge amounts, over 4 inches. And a lot of this is going to fall in a 6-hour period. And look at the ensemble agreement for the big precipitation amounts across some of the desert areas. Just ridiculous amounts. Would be catastrophic flooding. Las Vegas, you can see the big variability as you go through the ensemble runs here. The control kind of showing about 6-7 of an inch in 24-hour period, but there's some much bigger totals in here that are possible. This is Tonopah. I lived there for a few months once when I was doing work with the National Weather Service, and it rained about 0.5 inch in a day, and it seemed like there was like portions of the earth washing away. I can't imagine Tonopah, Nevada getting 2.5 inches in a 24-hour period, and some of the ensembles are even higher here, as you can see, with the mean over an inch in a 24-hour period. So some extreme flooding potential across Nevada as well. Lake Havasu City, Arizona, you can see as you go here, this has some pretty big totals here as well, but there's going to be a sharp gradient here the further you go east. So, there's going to be some variability in this forecast coming up. And I'll probably do a live stream again today, and we'll go over some of these changes as well. We'll see how the models are flipping and flopping. But if you go out towards Phoenix, you can see not much precipitation signal here with the system. Most of the impact should be off to the west of Phoenix. Now, taking a look here, look at Hilary going. This is just kind of watching it as we speak. It's showing signs of developing an eye. Looks like it's going through an eye wall replacement cycle here. And it could be a major hurricane by tonight, folks. This is just over prime warm water, low wind shear, and this is going to really develop quickly. It's going to have a beautiful eye on it as it tracks up towards Baja over the next couple of days. This is looking... It's the same thing here. We're just looking at the infrared satellite imagery here, and you can see some of this deep convection just firing and wrapping around this storm, showing signs of its eye. It's probably developed the eye now, just again going through that eye wall replacement cycle, it looks like here, and it's going to come out of this probably as a major hurricane by tonight. So yeah, I'm going to do a live stream today. We'll check out all the models and see how they change, but definitely increasing confidence in this forecast. Be prepared, especially if you're across the higher terrain of Southern California, often the desert areas up through Nevada, some of the Sierra Nevada under the gun here as well, portions of extreme western Arizona. And again, small changes in the track of this system are going to have huge impacts across different areas here. So we'll do that live stream again today. And yeah, we'll talk about more of that then. I'm getting a little bit hyped up here for this event. It's just kind of coming to the realization here that there's probably going to be some loss of life with this flooding, honestly, across Southern California. This is an extreme event rolling in here. Please be prepared for this coming up. This should be starting anytime during the day on Saturday. So anyway, I'll see you guys during the live stream later on today. And of course, I'll do my full briefing again tomorrow, and I'll do a Pacific Northwest briefing here after I finish this video. So anyway, hope you guys are having a good day. Be prepared. Don't be scared. And I'll see you guys tomorrow, or actually I'll see you guys this afternoon and then tomorrow's briefing as well. So anyway, have a good day.